Hey, what's up? This is Jay Trinidad. I think last week, it was like last week, I think that I saw on MTV they're doing like this show called It Gets Better Project. It's pretty cool. This is actually really cool. Hitting up the kids in the high schools that are getting bullied, and letting them know it gets better when you get an adult. But what I didn't really see is kids. There's actually boys that are into sports and they're good at sports, and you can't even tell they're gay. There are kids that there's boys out there too that are dating girls and they're in a relationship, and you can't even tell. There's kids that are in the gangs, and you can't even tell. They're just boys, regular boys that you can't even tell they're gay. They don't get bullied or nothing. So uh, I would like to see some of them speaking. That you couldn't even tell they were not bullied, but inside them they were struggling. Everything seemed good from the outer, but the inside they were just struggling. My situation was like that. I was bullied from elementary to junior high for the loneliness. Called a faggot. I was feminine. All of the stuff that the kids that are talking about it in high school. I was that. But in high school, I got kicked out like in junior high, eighth grade. So things started to change. I started going the wrong direction because it was easier and I was getting some type of attention, and it just kind of became, I just started numbing everything, and I always had girlfriends in high school. I was the type of boy that would never say no to to going out and doing this and ditching, and just I was just bad. I was bad. In my third high school there was like a group um, of gay guys, and you can tell they're gay. They were out, and I didn't see myself in them. I feel like I couldn't relate to them, and I felt alone. I felt alone because I feel like I knew that I never thought that I was bisexual. I knew I was gay. I was just able to date girls, but I knew how I felt inside. But I couldn't. I just didn't see myself. I didn't like to be around them. I didn't even like hearing them because I feel that maybe when I became an adult, that's the way I was gonna act. Just feminine. That was my fear. Now it's okay. I see guys. Gay guys are all different. Some of us are a little bit more straight acting. Some are a little more feminine. All of us are different. We're all different, and we act different, and we feel different. So at the time, that's the way I felt. I didn't want to act like that or be like that. So um, definitely it was a struggle. I feel like and maybe there was other kids like me that look like they were straight, but they were gay, but I didn't know that, and they were not gonna come out. So I felt alone. I felt alone, and I would like to see that on the It Gets Better project. Because it's hard. It's hard to walk around and um, people not thinking you're gay no more. And for my situation, it was weird because for almost all my life I was judged as a faggot, and that's what I was called all my life. So for people just to forget, just because I had girlfriends from left to right, and I was just bad. I had friends, like I don't know why, I just had friends here and over there, and I was just on the streets like for 3 days, and I won't come home, which is that bad boy, that bad boy that you kind of sleeping inside. I wasn't that wasn't who I was. I was I wanted to be different, but it was just so easy, and I just got so, it got numb. I got stuck. I got stuck in a situation. It was just um but for a long time, and like now I feel that I am that little boy. When I was little, I used to love girly stuff, you can say, and I always did. So um, but I'm still a man. I'm still a man, and this is how I act. I don't try to act like nobody else, or I try to act like a man that this should be. This is how I am. I'm a man. This is the way I act. But I still like it, and I think at the time when I was in high school, I forgot. I numbed it, all the things. I never even remember thinking about, fashion or like girly stuff. I just never did. I never. It was just so weird the way I just numbed myself, and I was so stuck and unhappy inside that um I don't know. So I don't know if there's kids out there. I know I'm not a celebrity. I'm a nobody. I'm just a person in my city and in my family. But if you're in a high school and or junior high, and you feel like you don't get bullied, but inside you you're gay, I think you should just continue finding who you are, and talk to teachers, or or to your parents or somebody in your family you feel comfortable, or you have a friend that is a good friend and you can let them know this is how I feel, and you will find out how much people feel the way you feel, and you're not alone, because that's why I felt all this time. I didn't talk to nobody, and the reason I didn't talk to nobody because it started since I was young, and I didn't have nobody, so it was something I got used to, not going to, just dealing with it myself. So from little boy till now, well, to 19, I deal with myself on my own. I made myself happy. I made myself realize that I'm okay. I didn't have nobody, but not everybody has that chance of having that strong mentality, and having that strength to say this to yourself. So I'm very thankful, and I'm here willing to help other kids. You know, because there's kids the way I was that need people to tell them like you're alright and you're not alone, and it does get better. I know that they're making that project, and that's pretty cool. But I'm trying to hit up the people that you can tell you're not getting bullied in high school. High school's okay for you. It's all right. You're in a good sports and you have a lot of girlfriends, but inside you're struggling. You're dying inside. And it will get better. And I think that you need to find who you are and make yourself happy.